Are you guys fired up? Man, I tell you what, I can hear a stampede, and it's called next Tuesday, and it's going to be exciting. When we send a message to Springfield and to Washington, D.C. and all over the place that we're sick and tired of the spending and we want to get people back to work and we want our government back, do you agree with me? Wow, we have got some outstanding candidates that I'm excited about, from Bill Brady. We're going to win the governor's mansion in Illinois. Think about that. Illinois! We're going to win a U.S. Senate seat. We're going to win a ton of House and State Senate seats. And Cedric Crenshaw is going to be coming up later, and you're going to hear from her. And I tell you what, she is on fire, and she's going to do an outstanding job. You've got, and you have unbelievable representation here in your mayor, Jim Daly. And I tell you what, that is a man that is focused on doing the right thing for you, and he is an outstanding mayor, and I think he's been a great host so far. Ladies and gentlemen, we are $14 trillion in debt. How much? Unemployment has exceeded 9.5%. When it was promised that if we just pass an $800 billion stimulus bill, it's not going to go over 8. But it was wrong. Illinois unemployment is much higher than that. And what did we do in 2009? We should have been talking about getting people back to work. We should have been talking about our belief in the private sector. We should have been talking about what it takes to allow entrepreneurs and small business owners to create jobs. We should have been talking about tightening our belts, but instead we talked about a government takeover of healthcare. You had representatives in Congress and in the U.S. Senate that didn't have a single town hall meeting to listen to you and what you had to say. You know, the most basic thing about representation is the fact that in the title it's a job description itself. You are a representative. Your job is to represent. Ladies and gentlemen, it is high time we get away from this idea that people go to Washington, D.C. to be somebody. We got to get away from this idea that you go to Washington, D.C. to get a paycheck or to get a retirement. You go to Washington, D.C. to humbly represent people and take their voice to our government. And for far too long, we've let people go to Springfield and go to Washington, D.C. because they wanted a title, or because they wanted a career, or because they wanted to come back to their districts and say they brought home the bacon. No bacon. But ladies and gentlemen, this is about the survival of our country. This is about if we're going to have a country that we're going to leave for our kids and grandkids that is better than the one we inherited, or if we're going to have one that's worse off. I tell you what, I have fought for my country overseas, and in the halls of Washington, D.C., I will fight hard for her, and we'll make sure we have a country that's better than the one we took over. When you think of the sacrifice that men and women are making overseas right now, when you think of the generations, the Korean War vets, the World War II vets, the Vietnam vets, the vets of my wars, and all through that have made their sacrifices for our country, and when you think about that select group of men that sat together and were called radicals because they had this idea that they were going to sign something called the Declaration of Independence, and that we were going to be an independent nation against the strongest country in the world. When you think of the sacrifice that people have made on our country, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, we don't have a right to give up on her now. The battles. The battles that we fight today are here at home. And in just a few short days, you're going to have an opportunity to have your voice heard loud and clear. You're going to have an opportunity to listen to the pundits. If you want to turn on MSNBC, maybe that would be the best station to watch. Because you can watch their reactions when they say that the Republicans are taking back the House of Representatives. And we have a conservative victory again. And you can watch when you see the picture of myself and Debbie Halverson with the check mark by Adam Kinzinger, and you know that we took back the 11th congressional district. And let me finally say, I cannot wait. I can't wait for the beginning of January. And if I could take every one of you onto the floor of the House of Representatives with me and let you stand there, I would, but I can't. Because it would be an honor to have you with me when I vote against Nancy Pelosi for Speaker.